Okay, I can barely hear you, but I'll just update you on this situation. I'm here with Rick Moss, who is the captain of the Broward County Sheriff's Office, and we are told, I know you saw the pictures of them jumping in, of Jason jumping in. He has drifted now to the address we last knew of was what?
That was 1300 block of South Ocean Boulevard, which puts us in proximity of Lauderdale by the Sea. He has continued now to drift further south. We have a number of deputy sheriffs and supervisors that are basically tracking his movements. When he does come out of the water, they have been directed to take him into custody. He has effectively violated 3 municipal ordinances, which are arrestable offenses, and at that time he will be taken into custody and taken to our headquarters.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit more, because he was telling us earlier that it's his constitutional right to surf, but obviously you think differently. Tell us those 3, you said they were misdemeanors that he violated.
Correct. The first thing is the pier, which is a public property, obviously, that was closed yesterday in relationship to the storm. There was barricades across the entrance to the pier, so crossing onto that public piece of property is one violation. There is a municipal ordinance which prohibits anybody from diving from the pier into the water, and then there is another municipal ordinance in relationship to surfboarding within proximity to the pier. So those 3 charges will be filed against him.
Now, we caught up with him before and after you actually came into the picture, because he said he tried to come over the bridges, you wouldn't let him across, so he actually swam here. If you're just tuning in, he told me he swam through the intercoastal. He said it took him about 4 minutes, and through the, Leon, if you could show over there, we were tracking him for probably about 20 minutes, but then we lost track of him, and as you said, he drifted. What will he face, I mean, when he gets out? I heard some of your officers come over before and said, we lost him, and you said find him. Find him under any condition. I want this guy. Why is it so important for you to find him?
Well, I mean, we try to balance the individual interest with the community interest. In this particular case, his actions certainly put himself into jeopardy. His actions also, by now being seen on the media, may encourage other people to come out and attempt to do the same thing. Our position is that he has effectively violated the law, and he will be charged with those violations. We intend on taking him again to headquarters and placing those charges against him. In this particular case, he's clearly put himself into jeopardy, and by his actions encouraging other people to come out will potentially put them in jeopardy as well.
Now, we had seen 2 other surfers actually come out, and very pleasantly the officers went over and said, you need to come out of the water, and they adhered to that request. Have you seen a lot of that today, and have you seen a lot of people actually trying to go out and surf here?
Yes, we have, and in most cases people have been very cooperative. They recognize that a deputy sheriff is basically looking out for their best interest. We've had this problem since the storm began. People come out, they want to walk the beaches. It's a little bit of morbid curiosity, but we do have an obligation to protect the community and protect people from sometimes their own foolish decisions.
And especially someone like Jason, you said you were absolutely irate before, because the officers actually were able to signal to him to come in, and he actually disobeyed that order, as you said, which is a misdemeanor. So that actually makes you angrier, because he is blatantly disobeying law officers.
Absolutely. I mean, we have no personal interest in this situation or virtually any situation, and for him to basically disregard what initially began as a very legitimate and sincere request and flaunt his actions in front of us, now he's put us in a position where we feel we have an obligation to take action.
Now, we're on Pompano Beach, just to clear it up, Atlantic Boulevard and A1A, obviously getting very windy out here. A lot of people in the homes around here, in the condos, have been coming out to check out the surfer. I assume, I mean, you're telling everybody to go home and you cleared the beaches, but I just want to reiterate that it's not a good idea to come out here.
It's definitely not. As you can see, the situation has continued to deteriorate. All of the indications are that this is just the shape of things to come, and for anybody to be out here with these gusts of wind, certainly the surf is now rising to the point where it's almost reaching the parking lot. As this continues, it's just going to get a lot unsafer, and our resources are being deployed throughout the city in order to protect persons and property. So to have people out here unnecessarily is just a foolish move.
Are there any updates? I mean, I know people have been checking in with you. Do we have any updates on where and when this guy can be caught?
I have not had an update since we've gone on camera. We will certainly get that. My sense of the matter is he probably is continuing southbound and whenever a point he comes out of the water is when we will take him into custody.
Okay, well, we're actually going to send a camera along when they do find him. We have Danny here who's actually going to take our little camera and try to catch it, and just to kind of see what was going through his head. I mean, if you could roll that video again for people just tuning in, Jason jumped off the pier probably, I would say, about an hour ago, and has been surfing around here for the past, I don't know, 15, before he left, obviously, probably 15 minutes, and then for the past half hour, we have lost track of him. So he said he had another buddy that he was surfing with earlier in the day who's home and just relaxing, eating chips. Very smart of you to stay home, because I don't think Jason really understood, I don't think Jason really understood the severity of the, what was going to happen to him if he were to stay in, because I think he was sort of jovial about the whole thing. Just saying, you know what, I'm going to go in, I'm going to do this. He was an experienced surfer. He said he's been surfing for about 26 years, I think he said. But obviously, even the most experienced surfer, Brian Norcross was actually a surfer, and he said nobody really can sustain this type of wave and wind when it gets really bad.
Absolutely. Just since the time that we've been here for the past 15, 20 minutes, I can see that the wave action is getting much more violent. The waves are coming up a lot higher. One of the things that I have a concern about, people have been partying for the past couple of days. He may be intoxicated to the point where he really has no concept of the peril that he's put himself in. So this is where law enforcement has an obligation to step in and try to address these issues.
Okay, right now I want to take you earlier when Jason came out of the water the first time. We interviewed him, and I want to show you a little bit about what Jason had to say. I mean, you gave a lot of people a scare jumping off that pier. You weren't scared at all?
No, did it 2 years ago. England's Pier, this year Pompano.
I mean, a lot of people at home think you're nuts. They're all boarded in under shelter and in shelters. I mean, what motivates you? Is the risk really worth the reward?
Well, you know, you wait all year for it, and if you've surfed with people that are number one a long time ago, 20 years ago, and surf this big, you're used to it. So this way you don't have to travel, you get it here, you don't have to travel.
Brian Norcross was saying that how the currents just drag you out there. Can you walk us through how it felt once you got out there?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It sucks you out to the ocean, and then the drift's horrendous. Basically, you just got to take your time, hold position, and catch what you can.
Okay, so that was a little bit with what Jason had to say, and he didn't seem, at least to me, to be intoxicated. He just seemed to be a diehard surfer that just really wants to take advantage of this storm. But again, for people just tuning in, Jason jumped in the water about an hour ago with his surfboard. He is surfing somewhere now. Where do we think he is about?
The last indication we have is he's further south of Lauderdale by the Sea, which is at some point going to put him in Fort Lauderdale. You know, one of the concerns that we have, sometimes people overestimate their capabilities. As a diver, I'm fully aware of that. It would not be surprising to me at some point where he's going to get tired fighting this surf, and then we're going to be in a position of having to try to rescue him from this ocean. Most, again, of our resources, and we have over 100 deputies that are deployed in the city of Pompano Beach today. Our marine units are obviously very busy. So if we are now in a position of trying to rescue him from this dangerous condition, he's put our personnel in a tremendous amount of jeopardy as well.
I saw about 5 officers here. We're actually trying to go catch up with them now. Can you tell us exactly how, obviously you have no one out in the water at this moment, but you have, in terms of trying to get him, obviously not a helicopter up in the air. Tell us how you're trying to track him down and how that works.
We have 2 deputies that are on foot along the beach. We have Pompano Beach Ocean Rescue, and one of our supervisors is in a vehicle. We are prepared at some point, if necessary, to put our ATVs or all-terrain vehicles out there, but at some point we also have to balance our abilities given the conditions as they are. You're absolutely correct. We don't have our boats in the water on the ocean side, nor do we have a helicopter up in the air given the weather conditions. So at this point, it's going to be an operation conducted on foot and by motor vehicle.
And obviously you're very angry that, it's so hard now, just one man and one person not obeying these mandatory evacuation areas. If you're watching this, it is just so important now that you just stay indoors. We were told a lot of the people in the 12 American Cross shelters here are getting very antsy. They're, the storm slowed down, and we understand that you're impatient, but it is really just the safest thing to stay inside. We're surrounded by police and the media. We're fine out here. People ask, Well, a man came up to me before and said, "You're a 100-pound woman. If you can sustain the wind out here, why can't I be out here?" But people have to understand, when it gets very dangerous, we know we're tracked, and people tell us to get indoors. And I just want to reiterate that as people come out and try to locate the surfer where we are.
One of the things that has occurred over the past hour as the wind has picked up is we are getting many more reports of fallen power lines. We have trees coming down across roadways. So somebody that seems to be innocuously walking along a sidewalk could potentially be struck by flying debris during one of the gusts of winds. A tree could fall upon them, or they may get pinned in an area with a power line that's down. So the safest thing for anybody to do that doesn't have a true, legitimate purpose for being out in the open at this point is to stay inside, stay dry, allow us to do our jobs, and it will make the whole situation just a whole lot better.
Well, Captain, thanks for joining us. I know you have to get back to getting Jason. Again, we're out here on Pompano Beach trying to locate a surfer that has gone, we don't know where. We think by Lauderdale Lakes. We will keep you updated. That's the story from Pompano Beach. Jill Martin, CBS4 News.
Jill, thank you. Watching this, I feel a little bit infuriated by this because he purposely defied the order to stay out of the water. Right. Other surfers heeded it. They went out surfing. They were allowed to do so, but when they were told to come in, they paid attention. We watched this guy on live television say, "I'm going to purposely run back in because they're trying to flag me down." And now Broward County Sheriff's Office is having to dedicate resources to looking for this one guy who purposely defied the orders. And to me, it just says incredibly selfish of him. And he knew that people, because they don't have to go out looking for him, but they have a conscience. They know this guy's out there. They can't just let him be out there.
Right. And the thing is, those officers, what if somebody needs them for something else, that is uncontrollable, rather than a person voluntarily jumping in the water? Here we're looking at him again. I mean, he may not be in a world of legal trouble right now because they say it's just misdemeanor charges they're looking for him, but he could be in a world of trouble as he drifts southward along the coast.
I want to clarify, is this live or is this before? This is tape. Okay, so they have not located him yet. This is when he came out of the water to talk to Jill, and then after that purposely went back in to avoid police. And a little bit of trivia about this guy, Jason. He's a well-known surfer out there in Broward County, so as soon as police do find him, and they will have a way to find him since he is well known, he is going to be charged with a crime, 3 misdemeanors, as the captain told us, including trespassing, because as you saw there, he jumped on the pier. Nobody was supposed to be out on the pier. Also disobeying a direct order and putting his life and other lives in danger by, with his example on TV, encouraging other people to go out. As the captain said, that is something they don't want anybody doing. Countless reports of downed power lines, among other problems, reported today in Broward County.
Well, let's just stress, anybody out there that is a surfer and sees that, I just want to stress, they can't find him right now. I mean, that's just testament to the fact that he put his own life in peril, and now he's tying up law enforcement. We have someone on the phone right now from Melbourne, Florida, Sarah Dorsey.